Hello, everyone. You can hear me, I'm hoping. Um, Thanks again for coming back I'm going to be a little bit out of it, as you can tell. I've been freaking out about stuff all night a little bit. There is an echo. I don't know where the echo's coming from. Is it just us? Can you guys all hear an echo?
I can hear an echo.
Yeah, I can hear a little bit.
It's only when you're talking.
Hey!
So I don't know what that means. There we go. I think that's
all
better.
Of the subs.
There we go. Finally got one too. One that's not one of us. It's good.
Yay!
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining this week. It's gonna be a little bit hectic, not too bad. Just as we're thinking through some stuff and whatnot. I'm a little bit underprepared myself, but as always, it will be a very great session, and thank you all for joining us. As you can see, we're missing Alex. He was unable to join us tonight, but we have a fun solution for that, which will add extra, I can't think of the name, filler episodes later on.
Zazz. Extra magic. I don't know.
Exactly.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, no, just the mic. Anyway, so this week we are just going to have the 4 others who are playing, and we're going to be able to do their introductions like we always do, starting with our wondrous and benevolent donator of subs, Michael.
Hello, everybody. I am Michael Honey. I'm playing 12 Thorns, the coolest Catboy Warlock. And my 12 Thorns fact for today is that 12 Thorns has a piercing. That's all the information you're getting.
What?
Piercing?
On his ear.
Somewhere.
I've seen it already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not in any of the fan art, so we don't know where it is.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm not surprised they heard that.
Oh, hey, wait, yeah, before we go on to Coog, let's make sure everyone heard 12 Thorns. If you heard 12
so
Thorns,
just
let us
not
know.
repeat himself again?
Yeah, we don't want to have to do
Yeah,
that
we're just making
Gosh dang it,
every
Wyatt.
time.
We need to do this
If you
before
heard-
him.
If you heard 12 Thorns, throw some D20s in the chat.
There it
See
is.
if,
Also, another quick question.
something like that.
OBS is telling me that I'm
There we go.
very, very loud right now. Is that true, or do I sound normal or
You
quiet?
sound very normal to me. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Do I
good.
sound normal
I
and
could
quiet?
definitely hear something different.
OBS is saying that I am like screaming. It's blaring, but
Is it the
For some reason, your guys' audio changed from my mic, or from my headphones, but
strange.
I can still hear just fine. But the
Okay.
audio is different.
Well, that's
Dang.
good to know.
But everyone else is saying you sound normal, so
So I
guess
think
we're
we
good.
must be good. And yeah, now that we know that we can hear people and Michael doesn't have to repeat himself, we can move on
Yes.
to Boo.
All right. Again, I am Boo Phillips. I play Goo, the polar bear kin. And my fun fact for today is kind of hilarious because Portia was standing next to me last week because she's like, polar bears can swim. Apparently, Coog didn't get that memo. He can swim, although polar bears are ridiculously good swimmers. Coog didn't seem to get that memo. Obviously, he can swim, but he cannot swim for long.
Ooh.
He tires quickly. He doesn't have as much fatty storage as most polar bear can. He's quite toned, and muscle doesn't fit.
Uh-huh.
His wife, on the other hand, is the best swimmer known to bear kin.
Wow.
She's
He's like the
yeah.
Bearkin
She's like-
version of Michael Phelps or something.
Oh no, she's better than that. Don't worry. She has the record. She made a 426-mile swim before we met each other. It took her 9 days, and she lost 22% of her body weight.
Wow.
That's insane.
No, I told you these are actually real facts of real polar bears.
Well,
That's
I'm
amazing.
gonna start doing this because I'm gonna make this educational for polar bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Now we want some real facts
right.
about Goliath.
Indication for
Yeah, something that. Okay, my name is Benjamin Amundsen. I play Braylor the Wall, the Goliath Paladin, and my Braylor fact today is actually something about Goliath. So in Goliath culture and society, they revere like actual giants a lot, and obviously Braylor wasn't raised in like a Goliath society, but the Rangers who raised him decided they wanted to raise him with all the traditions and knowledge of his home culture. So they taught him all the stories that they have about these like heroic giants that basically founded all the different Goliath clans. So he's got that for him going.
Yeah, that's fun. And Teagle's fact for the day, since he's not here, I'm going to make one up for him. And I'm going to start doing this now, I think. If anyone misses the session, I'm just going to make up a fact for you. He, being a gnome of very small stature, when he encounters like the sycamore trees from California, stuff like that, he gets pretty freaked out by them. They're these natural things that are just towering over him, and he's just not like scared or he's gonna run away, but he's kind of like a little bit jittery and on edge around them.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna watch this later, Alec, that's canon now.
There you go. It's spoken into canon. It's facts.
Portia.
So Portia is a person with long hair. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that to you guys. But because it's long, it gets tangled a lot. So she doesn't really have a comb or a brush or anything like that. So she spends her time just brushing her hair with her fingers. And so she sheds a lot of hair sometimes. And so there'll be like white hairs on places, and she'll tend to kind of not notice them, or because they're like, the color she dyes, or she'll throw, or they gather, and she'll try to blame it on some kind of different animal. So,
wow,
some really long hair, and no, I don't know what that is. Just my hair.
Those are multicolored.
That's a long hair, Goog. So,
Yeah.
That's it for her, pretty much.
That is repeating.
More issues that ladies have. Yes. Or
Wow.
long hair.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, buddy.
And the echo's back. What happened?
I don't know, but we have a friend.
Anyway, quick thing before we start the recap. As you may have seen, I'm going to turn down how often this ad comes through for Raid, because I feel like it came through pretty quick. But Raid Shadow Legends is once again sponsoring us, and this time we're doing it a little bit different.
Yep.
Basically, anyone who wants to download Raid from our link and plays to get to level 12, it will notify me that, which is great because I can see you all. From the names that make it to level 12, I'm going to do a drawing, and depending on how many people do it is what that's going to be for, starting with just 5 people up to the max, which is 20. You'll see once we get to the map, we have a little counter. 5 to start. Whoever wins it gets a hoodie, just one of our pin cast hoodies. You can choose the color, you can choose all of the stuff. If you want it to be the white logo, the black logo, it doesn't matter. Our top tier prize, which I want because I just really want to see them, so I'm hoping whoever wins it lives in Utah anywhere, because I will send it to my house and then deliver it to you because I want to see them. They would be custom made gem dice that are laser engraved with our logo as the 20, and I believe all the high numbers on each of the dice in the set. So if we can get to 20 people, that will be the prize for whoever wins it, which would be awesome. So anyway,
that and say your favorite character is coming with Wyatt.
Yes, whoever you like the most.
So that really is the grand prize, is a visit from one of us.
Anyway, the link is going to be in the chat. all night. So if you ever feel like downloading it, I
Mhm.
think you have to download it on PC first. But the thing there is saying PC and mobile. So maybe mobile works. It'd be
Yeah.
nice if it does. Last time it didn't.
Also, I was like, Dad, I
Yes.
don't want to
We'll
discourage
find
anyone.
out.
If you don't want us to come to your house, we will not come to your house.
Oh no, I will. 100%.
Unless you don't want us to, because
Maybe.
I'd rather have their support than have their fear.
All the greatest rulers ruled with fear. Everyone knows that.
No,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even talk about that right now.
Okay. Quick recap so we get into the thing. The party landed on a very strange island that was seemingly separate from the area that they were in. As they got close to the island on ship,
Oh,
the air changed and became warm, which, if you remember, they're in the northernmost part of Wildland where it is freezing cold, so it was probably a very kind welcome to this island. Upon reaching the island, I'm going to stop saying upon reaching the upon reaching the island, the party were anxious to get to shore. They haven't landed for a little bit, and it was very warm and inviting. All of the crew jumped on and into the boats and started heading over, while the players lagged a little bit behind. They watched as the crew members landed on the island. The first two to jump out were transformed, one of them into a boulder, the other one into a small iguana that ran up onto the boulder to sunbathe. This freaked the party out, but some of them were drawn to the island by mysterious music generated from some unknown source in the middle of the island. It caused them to want to approach the island. Upon doing so, Coog started to change, not fully like the crew members, but his visage started to turn more tree-like. He started growing bark and strange branches and whatnot, and this led to the pattern of the rest of the party starting to transform as well. If I remember properly, Braylor into like a hybrid pig, and 12 Thorns into a mix of cat and iguana. Portia didn't have anything happen to her, and Teagle didn't have anything happen to him. So
Just kidding.
then they spent some time investigating the island, which led to a lot of mysterious things happening every once in a while as they traveled deeper. The most threatening of all, which I didn't think it would be when I wrote it into the island, was the party starting to float away. Coog almost floated out into the atmosphere and lost everything before he was caught by other members of the party. After catching him, Braylor also began to float away. Portia was poofing around the island like none other, just teleporting like crazy. And Teagle seemed to be trapped in an infinite loop of returning to the beach.
Oh yeah.
Which seemed crappy to him. 12 Thorns, on the other hand, seemed to be getting lucky. Got teleported to the center of the island, found a cave that led him to a water portal that brought him to meet a massive quintessent, a giant, a storm giant that lived in the mountains. Through their conversation, with no additional ums or uhs, 12 Thorns was able to elicit the help of this quintessent in gathering her friends from the main island and bringing them all to one spot. She also was able to negate the effects of the island to cause them to stop happening for a little bit, so that the party would be able to explore uninterrupted. When they all poofed, we ended up with 12 Thorns, Coog, and Teagle, along with a couple members of the crew, on the far edge of the island, with Braylor and Portia nowhere to be found. Because, as you all know, Braylor is currently evading carnivorous plants on an island to the
Trying to catch the wind with my shield as I'm floating above everyone. Not working too well, but you know.
Portia, she ended up on a gold, I guess it's a gold-leafed island.
It's a beautiful golden island.
Everything
Solid.
that she sees is covered in gold. Or possibly solid gold. She doesn't know for sure. And we're going to start there. The sun was just dropping down behind the horizon over the waters as we ended last session, and you are now going into night for all of you.
Right.
Her Braylor, real quick, actually, your gravity effect would have ended when the crescent stopped the magic effects of the island. So I don't remember how high you were floating. I think you had just teleported there again, and were probably right at the tops of the trees. So you'd probably be able to catch on to something, if I remember correctly.
The trees, though, are like reaching out to try and eat me, though, right?
Not the trees themselves, but like the vines on the trees and whatnot. Those would be trying to grab you. So you might be able to find a spot that doesn't have it, but yes, more than anything, they are wanting to eat you. So you're falling. You can attempt to grab onto something if you'd like, or you can fall to the ground.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna try and grab onto the top of a tree, so I can slow my fall, like bend it down, so I can reach the ground, not damage myself.
That tree is going to just snap under your weight like a little match.
Yeah, that's more than likely. But
I will say there is a very flimsy-looking tree to the left of Braylor, and there's a kind of sturdier-ish looking tree to the right of you. You can choose one of them to grab onto and see what happens.
Come on, don't make the tree impale him now.
Yeah, I'm gonna just I'm just gonna go for the sturdier tree. Because I'm more confident that they would hold the falling weight of this Goliath. Do you want me to make stealth? Not stealth.
Athletics.
Acrobatics check or something?
Acrobatics or athletics, you can choose.
Oh, yeah, I'll do athletics. That's much better. 15.
15. Yeah, so you fall out of the sky, kind of grab onto the top of this tree at the very tippy top, and start breaking branches as your hand slides down the bark of this branch, slowing your descent very well before you are able to kind of catch yourself on some of the middle branches. The tree didn't bend like you were expecting it to. It kind of gave a little bit, but you would have been able to land probably about halfway down, breaking through a couple branches. Don't take any damage from it.
Sweet. Are there any of the carnivorous vines coming towards me at this moment?
Make a perception check.
All right. 7.
7?
Yeah.
There are not.
All right, cool. I'm going to start climbing down the tree slowly, just expecting, watching out for something to try and attack me, but not seeing anything.
Okay. So yeah, you start climbing down the tree. Nothing's really bothering you at the moment. You can get pretty close to the ground, no problem. And then it's probably like 5 foot. You can probably reach the ground from the lowest branch, easy peasy. Yeah. So that's where you would be. I can pull that up for you over here if you want as well. Yes. What was I saying? You can make it to the ground, no problem, and do as you like. But real quick, while you think of maybe what you want to do on the ground, we'll go over to Portia really fast.
Yay!
Portia, as the sun drops behind the ocean, and by the ocean I mean the Earth. I guess on an ocean horizon, it's just going behind the Earth, right?
Is it dark?
Yeah. So it starts to fade. And once the sun is completely gone, the moonlight gleams off of the gold to kind of give it an eerie, kind of bluish yellow glow. to the air, but you can still see pretty well because of that.
Okay.
But you start to hear creaking coming from far off in the distance, just kind of like metal scraping on metal, or like the sound of almost hinges on an old rusty door opening kind of thing. Far off in the distance, not close by, but let me pull up the map for you.
If there's any leaves nearby, I'm gonna start grabbing the leaves and putting them all over my body and putting a pile of leaves on the ground. And I'm just gonna dig into it and look around.
Dig into
And I
the
want to
pile of golden leaves.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a perception check for me then.
Okay. Can you turn it? I will do a roll 20, right? So I got a. Oh, frick.
Nah. Natural one.
Yeah, but I want to see if I have any plus one probably perception. Oh wait, I have a thing where.
Plus
Oh, is that
one.
only on attacks? Not on any
Plus
rolls? It has to be just on attacks.
for what?
Well, I can't roll a natural one. One of my powers.
Oh yeah, no, that's for an attack.
Freaking. So just 2. Then,
Yep.
Right.
So you got a 2. You hear the sound of metal scraping and kind of like an old rusty door hinge sound far off in the distance.
Okay, I want to.
And yeah, you can definitely burrow into some golden leaves if you would like to. There's not much going on with them.
Okay, I want to make an investigation check. Is that different?
Kind of, but what are you investigating?
I'm investigating the sound.
The sound? It is very far off in the distance.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't,
If you would have been able to
discern.
roll higher on the perception, you might have been able to discern something from it. But
Can I do another perception check?
no. And real quick, while you decide what you're going to do next, then we'll move over to Coog and 12 Thorns. This Coog and 12 Thorns, as you... Oh, I ruined everything for myself. Let me think of it real quick. You guys were all supposed to take a long rest real quick before. But anyways, not supposed to, but I was planning on asking if you wanted to. So, 12 Thorns and Coog, you guys wandering around on this beach, start going around, and I guess Coog has the bag of holding.
Yeah, can I stop you right there?
Yes.
So that I respond accurately. Teagle has gone into the bag of holding, right?
Teagle would have had I allowed you to take a long rest. Now I am stuck with him still there, so he's going to have to come and talk to you real quick, I think.
Teagle, let's just pretend. Teagle, I'm Teagle. Teagle's just going to jump in the bag.
We can just say we've taken a rest, can't we?
Yeah, we can do this. It's going. The sun is going down after a very long day.
I'm in a pile of leaves.
And if you would like to take a rest on the beach, you definitely can.
All right.
Pretend they did.
You definitely. This sounds like a horrible idea.
Right.
From a vanilla DM, so it sounds like an absolutely horrible idea.
It wasn't supposed to until I forgot about it.
Well, just a short rest, sitting around the campfire for an hour.
Yeah, you can do
So
that.
I'm gonna suggest with 12 Thorns and Teagle that hey, I think we should do like a shift thing right now. I'll take first watch, and then I'll start a fire. I'll take first watch, and just in case anything happens, I think we should tie each other together and to a rock. So I'm gonna tie myself to a rock and then hand Teagle and 12 Thorns a piece end of my rope and be like, "Here, I suggest you tie yourself to me just in case."
I'm going to tie like a slip knot so it looks like it's tied, but it won't actually attach to me.
Well, you know what a slip knot is, right?
Well, not quite that, but just make it look like it's tied, but if you pull on it, it'll slip through.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Gotcha.
what is a slip knot now? I'm
A
confused.
slip knot is what you tie when you want to be able to do this with it.
Yeah.
A slip
Wait,
knot
say
is
that again?
usually used
No.
as like a choker.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's just like you
Okay.
round part around another part, you can go like that, right?
For the
Yeah.
sake of me not having to think through all the conversations Tiga would have with all of you guys find a note
Yeah.
next to the bag of holding that
Yeah.
explains that Teagle, looking for some kind of remedy to the island's effects causing problems in the entire group, perhaps something to aid you in the rest of your journeys, has gone into the bag of holding in search of some kind of magical item that might have been left there, perhaps some strange being who might be able to help them inside of the bag of holding. And before anyone thinks this isn't a normal bag of holding according to D&D standards, it is according to my standards. So, doing that, I have to change all the bag of holding after this, just so everyone.
And we're also not the first owners of this bag of holding, so you have no
Yeah.
idea what's inside of it.
Yeah. So,
You can have all sorts of.
Coog has read this note now, and he's like somewhat traumatized. He has like no idea what to think, and he's like, he reaches in the bag and he's like, oh, he's like reaching around for Teagle. Like, I don't know what's going on. He freaks out. Does Coog grab anything?
Yeah, air.
He's gonna
If
grab
you
the
are-
first thing he touches and pull it out. What does he grab?
You were thinking a lot about Teagle, trying to figure out where he is. So you kind of like grab onto something that feels like fabric, could be a shirt or some kind of thing, and you pull it out, and it's like this little, it's like a little, maybe 6-inch figurine of a small gnome. Doesn't look like Teagle in any way. It's not like a replica of him, but it's just a gnomish doll. And
Gnomish doll, and
yeah.
I'm gonna say, oh my gosh, Teagle's dead!
Doing this, I'm gonna look over. What he's dead? What happened?
Hey, you read the note. Teagle went into the bag. I thought of Teagle. I reached in the bag and I pulled out this.
I'm gonna look at Dave Noel and I'm just gonna pass out.
He passes out. Oh gosh. Okay, so now Coog's really freaking out. So he ties 12 thorns to a rock just so he doesn't float away, just in case. and he keeps Coog keeps himself tied to a rock, and he's like, and he sticks his head in the bag, and he looks around. What is he? I'm gonna make a perception roll.
Yeah, with your head going into the bag, not fully
I
entering.
perceived as
Wow.
26.
Yeah.
What do I get?
Oh man.
You
do I
start
see?
looking around, and there's kind of a blank void with like a ladder extending down into darkness at first. You look further into it, and you can see the ladder extends and goes on and on and on. You can see far off in the distance. There is kind of like a little platform area that isn't super huge. It looks like just a small little room that might be able to go off in all sorts of ways. And as you're looking into the bag and the night is continuing on, your mind, as well as 12 Thorns, perhaps in some kind of passed out dream that you're having, perhaps it stirs you from your fainted state. But not just you two, also Portia and also Braylor, you hear in your minds this unnatural howl like a wolf, but kind of almost like with a vibrating sound to it that makes it just unnerving in a way. That is not
exactly.
what
No
you heard.
That was pretty good, okay?
And it's just you know for a fact it's not coming from
One of the
a physical
wolves.
sensation. It is definitely in your minds, and it pierces deep.
All right.
12 Thorns immediately just like freaks out and wakes back up again. And just it's like on all fours, back arched, just like a cat who's ready to just go to town on something.
Yeah. Sweet. Can I use Divine Sense? Just because I can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Divine sense is
like in
fiends
response, I'm
and
trying to see if there's any good or evil
good or evil.
or celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet. Just trying to sense where this noise is coming from.
So
I can.
you look around into the now carnivorous forest that surrounds you, and it's a weird sensation you haven't had with the divine sense in the past and all the time you've had it. You stare out, and for a moment you catch a glimpse of something that is definitely a fiend. And as you're looking at it to try to figure out where it is or what it is, the sensation goes away. You can't sense any fiends in the area anymore. And then, as you're looking around again in a different spot, the fiend, that feeling is back. And just like the time before, it vanishes almost as quickly as it showed up.
All right. So I've been thinking about what Brayler wants to do, and I'm going to try and propose something. It might be a little out there, but I have reasons to support it. So in my adventurer's pack, I have a shovel. All right. But Brayler was raised by rangers, so I see this as like a survival shovel with sharpened edges that can be used as like a multi-tool. He's going to get that out just in case a vine starts coming at him, because that's the only sharp thing that he has.
Smart.
So he's going to put his shield on his back, have his quarterstaff and like the survival shovel in his other hand, and he's just going to start walking towards where he saw that fiend. And I can sense your presence, fiend. You can come out and talk to me. I am not afraid of you, but it is polite to talk to someone when you're trying to kill them, if that's what your intention is. Yeah.
With that coming out of the forest, you would see for the first time you wouldn't see it super well in the dark. It's a shadowy, close to a wolf figure that kind of fades in and out of existence. Deep inside of the shadow, you can see just this glowing crimson light that pours out specifically of its mouth and eyes. And as you start to see it, I need you to roll initiative. I'll have everyone roll initiative right now just so we can have it. And I'm rolling 1 for all the wolves.
Can you roll one for me too? Cool.
Yes.
We're doing an initiative.
You want us to roll on
Yes,
D20,
everyone.
on roll 20? Not roll 20.
If
D&D
you
Beyond.
want, you can roll on D&D Beyond or physical, however you please. I don't have the counter up, sadly.
No, okay.
Okay, just a second. I don't have my dice with me, so I've got to get them online. Today I got an 8.
8?
Yep.
You have to wake up somehow.
I'm awake.
Coop.
This is for initiative. I got a 13.
Yes. 13.
So
Portia. I'll roll for you. I don't know if you want me to, because it never works when someone else rolls for you.
Fine, I'll
Just so
roll.
you know, I'll let you roll. I rolled a 2, so you can roll for yourself. Yeah, that's a little better. That's a 8.
Yay!
Oh, dang. We're going great.
Yeah, and the hounds go first.
Wait, I thought we were in the dark. I live on an island.
With a. Okay, so Braylor, we'll start with you as you try to see them. This hound, and you see as it charges you, another one appears from behind it. They both charge you simultaneously. The first one will lunge at you, trying to knock you to the ground.
Okay.
while his jaws are trying to clamp onto your shoulder. With a 22 to hit.
A 20 what?
22.
That would normally hit, but I'm gonna do shield so that it won't.
Okay. So you pull up your
Yeah.
shield, and it glows with your radiant energy that you have, and you are able to catch the wolf fairly easily. It shies away from this, foregoing its second attack. As the other one charges
Nice.
in, you see this first one vanishes.
Okay.
From where it was by your shield. The second one came in with a 10 to hit.
Yeah. No,
He's
that's
swinging
not
at you with
gonna
his
hit.
claws. And another 10 to hit. So, this second one comes in and tries to slash you across the chest with its claws. You are just able to kind of deftly, with your shield raised, guard behind it fairly easily. And this one also kind of backs away and fades into nothing again. You haven't lost sight of it. Let's see. Let's pull out the wolves. And then after that, we go on to Kook.
So I now see wolves approaching me?
Currently, you can hear wolves surrounding the camp. If you look around, you can probably see them. You wouldn't be able to tell from just the sound because it's in your mind. But you know there's something there.
Okay, I'm really sorry. Michael, I think I can hear an echo coming from your mics, and it is like really making it hard to understand it.
Okay.
Because the only reason I think it's your mics is because I can see your screen highlighted every time I can hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna turn on push to talk, so just a second.
Sorry, I don't mean to inconvenience you. I just want to see if this is it.
No, it's fine. I'm crappy mic this time, so it most likely is.
Okay, so Wyatt, I can hear wolves. I cannot see wolves.
You can hear nasty growling in your
nasty
mind.
growling and howling. All right, I'm going to also do a perception check and see what I can find around me because I want to know if I'm being attacked or not. I got an unnatural 20.
Yeah, so you start looking around the camp, trying to find where this howling is coming from. And yeah, you see same thing that Braylor saw, these wolves with just glowing crimson eyes approaching the campsite. You, with your
Got
20, looking around, you see there is 5 of them approaching.
5 of them. All right, I am going to quickly wake up 12 Thorns if he's asleep. I don't know what he's doing because I don't know where we're at.
I think it's this.
So I have woken up 12 Thorns and said, "Hey, we are under attack. We have wolves. They are not mine, and well, let's get ready to. Hopefully, you don't run, or they attack you mostly." So, after I wake him up, I am definitely going to step in front of him, between him and the wolves, because I have natural protective instincts. And how far away are they right now?
They're probably just on the outskirts of the camp. I didn't make individual maps like I should have, so doing
That's
the
okay.
mind thing.
Just tell me.
They're probably
so they're like
about
40 feet away.
Yeah, about 40 to 45 feet away from
All right, cool. They are 40 feet away. I'm not even going to bother to see if they're friendly or not, because I don't think they are. I'm going to cast Shatter as a level 2 spell in the center of them. It is a 10-foot radius.
Okay. What save is that? There's no way they make it. So you probably catch about 3 of them with it. The other ones are kind of circling around to the other sides of the camp. But
All right.
looking around,
Okay.
you'd see a group of about 3 that are approaching from one side.
Yeah,
And you can
I would
get those
definitely
ones.
pick the group with the most wolves for sure. Yeah, so 10-foot radius, they all take 11 damage if they all.
Can you move that map up to the big screen so I can see it better bit? If possible. If not, that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Let me just do this.
Are you streaming the map?
Sorry, how much damage was it? Oh, man. Yeah,
11 damage each.
11 damage each. Okay. Let me switch over to map
Oh,
for you in
it's
chat.
it's a Constitution 14. So if they save, they take half damage. If they don't save, they take full damage. Do I notice if the damage actually affected them at all? I'll just read you that a sudden loud ringing noise, painfully intense, erupts from a point of your choice within range. Each creature in a 40-foot radius sphere centered on the point must make a Constitution save. So a creature takes 3d thunder damage on a failed save.
Under damage.
Yeah, or half as much on a successful one. A creature made of inorganic material such as stone, crystal, or metal has disadvantage on this saving throw.
Hmm.
Non-magical object that isn't being worn or carried also take damage. Higher levels, you don't need that. So. Okay.
Hmm.
Got it.
Great. That is great. All right.
Bonus actions. Oh, sorry. Did not have that prepared when I should have.
You can do
one moment.
Bardic Inspiration is a bonus action, I'm pretty sure.
I'm actually definitely going to do that for 12 Thorns. Would we have... Did this happen right as it became night? Or was this into the night? Okay, so that's not even a short rest, so I'm not even going to ask.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. 12 Thorns, do you have Bardic Inspiration? I play a little thing on my Ocarian, and there you go. Or Ocarina.
Nice. We really need to get you a real life ocarina so you can play some.
I've actually literally started looking up how to play an ocarina. So
yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that bards can do. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I decided bards are my favorite class.
Yeah, bards are fun. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so let me double check something real quick. No, I don't. I do not have dark vision, I don't think. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, I don't think Goliaths get dark vision. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna try and spot these wolves. Were these, when they attacked me, did I recognize them as the fiendish presence that I saw with my divine sense? Hmm. Yeah. All right. So it was like a presence that that's just like an action long thing. So if I wanted to use it again, I would have to use an action to cast Divine Sense again. But if I can't see them, I'm just gonna ready an action to prepare myself to attack when the one attacks me and they solidify, and I can get a solid target. So I'm gonna hold my turn until they come at me, and I'm gonna get like up on a rock and just take my shield out, put away my little survival shovel, and just ready my quarterstaff to smack them in the face when they appear.
Three miles.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident you said 3 miles.
Yeah. Yeah, these battles are not to scale currently. Otherwise, we very, very tiny. I can still see the tiny little boat on the map, and that makes me happy. Zoom in. There it is. Anyway. Yeah. No, I'm just gonna ready my whole turn, so I'm just gonna wait until things pop off. And I can see a wolf with my eyes.
I think I'm going to, once I get blinks of sleep out of my eyes, I'm going to look to the wolves and cast my double Eldritch Blast.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
So that's a 10 on the first one,
Oh man.
and a 14 on the second.
There we go.
That is going to do a whopping 2 damage.
There you go. But you got the moral victory in that one right there. That was
The
good.
moral victory.
So I wake up and I see the wolves, and I'm still like not quite with it, and I just immediately just feel this wave of energy and just barely accept one.
We're made of shadows.
Yeah. There we go. What?
It's okay. They've heard the most important thing, which is you guys talking, just not me.
Well, I'm talking and we're using the same mic.
Right, run. There we go. Now you can hear me.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Should be able to.
Okay.
You're gonna have to talk really loud, Ames, because you're far away.
I'm not that far. I'm literally the same distance I was sitting down.
You're right. Okay, go ahead.
Listen. Listen. They're trying to. I want to make another perception check. Are you gonna let me?
Yes. For the wolves.
Yeah, I want to see how far they are.
Okay. Here's a
I don't
die.
even know if they are wolves. Freaking nuggets.
They're howling.
I got a 4.
A 4.
Here, take it.
So you start looking around, trying to see what the source of this howling is coming from, but you are unable to discern anything. You might hear a little bit of crunching of, well, I guess tinking and tattering of golden leaves. Could be
Okay,
falling from trees, but
I'm
Not
just
much.
gonna prepare my axe. I'm just gonna take it out, put
Okay.
it next to me, and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be like super sneaky. I just want to be super stealthy, okay? And like just sit there and wait, pretty much.
okay.
And I can't. Can I see like the water? Like how close am I to the edge?
You are still a ways off. You can see the water far away, but it's,
Do I see the other island, the main island?
yeah, off in the distance.
Okay. I'm gonna go towards.
The water.
Is there somehow? Yeah, towards the main island, but very stealthily. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like moving that way, stealthily, quickly but stealthily, so I can get closer to the edge to figure out what my next step is. To see what if I can see any light coming out of the other island. Because they said they had a campfire, right?
I don't. Did you guys make a campfire?
I can't hear them.
I can't either. What did I do to us? I've ruined everything. Okay. Did you make a campfire? Now I can hear you.
Can they hear us though? Did they
Yeah.
hear what? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did they make a campfire? Coog and Bull and
12 thorns would not have bothered to make a campfire.
Coog did for him,
Poog did.
so that he could cuddle up next to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at the edge of the island, just stealthily walking that way to see if I'll see something once I see them. Towards the main island. I know I can see
Okay.
the main island. So
It's going to take you a little bit to get over there.
yeah, that's okay.
So you start heading that direction, and we move back over to 12 Thorns and Coog, who I'm moving your guys' initiative order around because I don't want to keep jumping between islands. So
Yeah, you're good.
back over to 12 Thorns and Coog. The crew members who are with you see you guys take up arms and start to fight. They couldn't see the wolves at first, but they charge them, and they attempt to aid you in their attack. That hits. Good job, crew members. One of them
Nice.
charges in. He has a little pistol, and he kind of sees where Coog just was pointing, I guess, signing to where the wolves were, and just fires off into the dark. And you see this bullet kind of pass through one of the wolves as it kind of, the shadow dissipates, and you can see it kind of wince in pain. You can tell that it did something, but not a ton. And then the
Jeez,
other
what did you just drop? A wrench?
Oh, a natural. No, I have my.
I think that's some.
tinkly metal die.
I got some metal dice, man, but they don't sound like that. You got like a steel welding table that you just threw a wrench down on? That's what it sounded like.
I might have well as done that because it was a natural 20, so it definitely
There you go.
definitely elicits that.
Is
And
this
with-
Captain Cole that's shooting, or just
No,
a
this-
random
another crew member.
civilian?
Captain Cole
Okay.
stayed on the boat.
Why? I think it's because you rolled.
Yeah.
You probably would have seen him going down towards the brig, probably to talk to Rose a little bit.
Yeah.
Or docked.
Those two are making out.
Gross.
Oh.
That's what
Yeah,
I was-
100%.
Yeah.
And This next group, another group of them charges the wolves that they see them just fire and start slashing as best they can into the dispersing shadows that are the wolves. And for some reason, it does a bit more damage than you would have expected steel to do on shadows. And these wolves kind of like are wincing in pain and kind of trying to jump out of the way, whereas before they were more confident in their abilities. And yeah, they take a bit of damage from that. Good job, crew members. And then we move back up to the wolves, who now are going to attack everyone.
Great.
Not me though.
Why can't I calculate right now? 3
Oh, they'll catch up to you,
plus
Portia. Don't worry.
max.
Yeah,
No.
they'll get you.
They'll get you.
Oh.
Yeah, the classic D&D thing where you say you're stealthy without rolling.
Okay,
You know,
so-
works every time.
It works
I
every
know,
time.
That's my bad. I forgot.
Starting
Why
with
didn't you say anything before?
starting with Braylor on the far island. These two wolves, you see them come charging out of the woods again.
All right.
And they charge towards you. You can make your attacks on one
Yeah.
or two of them, how you please.
Sweet. Yeah.
Group, so they have the same hit points.
How are you not cold?
Yeah, I'm gonna swing at him.
I have a polar bear.
Oh gosh, that's a 10,
That does not hit.
which I'm assuming doesn't hit. And I do get 2 attacks, so let's go. That's 11, I think. Great. Okay. That's my.
That does not hit.
Let's see.
either.
Actually, no. I do get to do a bonus action shield bash on one of them to try and knock it over. So I'm gonna try that.
Okay.
And that is much better. 21 or 22.
I rolled
Sorry.
a 3, and they
Nice.
have a +1 strength, so they got nowhere close. You definitely knocked one of the wolves, kind of slammed it back a couple feet, and it falls prone onto the ground. The shadow kind of disperses around, though, and it's back up just about 5 feet away.
Great.
From you.
All right.
And then they both.
I got a
are going
really
to
cool image in my head of what these.
lunge at you
Yeah,
for an
they-
attack. Will any of them hit? 15, 20? Does a 20 hit?
Braylor?
Yes.
Yes, a 20 barely hits Braylor
So
as of right now. Unfortunately.
Barely. You got
Um,
lucky.
Yeah.
the first wolf, he charges you. He starts slashing with his claws, trying to get any kind of ground.
All right.
He doesn't for the first couple of hits, but then as you're kind of nimbly dodging around these, he gets one of these claws just slams into your chest. You'd expect some kind of gash or wound to come through, but his paw kind of pierces deeper into your person. I need you to roll a d4
Yeah.
for me.
All right. I got a 1.
Okay, you don't take any damage.
Okay. I don't know if that's good or not.
But
Yeah, right.
you feel this cold presence starting to grab onto your mind.
All right.
Currently, nothing happens.
All right, man.
And the second wolf is
Sweet.
going to move in for his attacks. You know what? I already rolled, actually. I'm not going to take it back. The first miss, 100% miss.
All right.
The second one, I thought that was a natural 20, but it's not. It's
Oh.
18, which puts him to
18 will
23.
not hit Braylor.
23 after I rolled an 18.
Oh.
You are a tank.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah. No, 23 hits. Unless I do shield, but I won't do shield. I want to save my spell slots for something else.
Okay, so this one, same thing, charges in. You dodge the first one, but he is able to get you with his second roll, and roll another
Okay.
d4 for me.
I got a 3 this time.
A 3. Okay, so this
Mhm.
one, its claw passes through you again, just like the other one did, leaving no marks. You don't take any damage.
All right.
But this time, that presence is just starting to cloud your mind really powerfully. I need
Okay.
you to make a wisdom save for me.
Ooh. See, that's one of the good things about Braylor. I got nice wisdom save stats here. Come on. That's a 16.
16.
Is that gonna do it?
It does.
There
You
we go.
pass. Barely.
Yes,
beat
there we
that.
go.
So you feel this presence starting to cloud your mind. You kind of shake it off a little bit, but it's still able to kind of distract you ever so slightly. You take a -2 to all wisdom saves.
Okay. -2 to all wisdom saves?
Yes.
All right. That'll just be a +4 to my next wisdom save then. I'll keep that in mind. All right, cool.
I need to mark these down differently than I am. Okay. We move over to the other group of wolves. They're circling in on you guys. A lot of them attack their crew members. You see some of them kind of like shying away from the wolves, kind of like shaking their heads a bit. But the ones that come over towards attacking you, the first one attacking Coog is a natural 20.
Nice.
So that hits.
Yeah.
He rolled a d4 for me.
I'll roll a d4.
I guess I could be rolling these, but I wanted you guys to
No, you're good.
decide
I got
your
a
own
4.
fate. A 4?
You got
Ooh.
enough to worry about one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've
I
got
can roll
four
a die.
of that. So you, this one, his claw does start to kind of become a bit more physical. You take 6 points of piercing damage. I mean, slashing damage. He's clawing you, not biting you.
Yeah.
And then the same thing, you feel this presence starting to cloud your mind as the second attack comes in with a 11 to hit.
11 to hit?
Yes.
I have an 11 AC, so
That
Ty,
does,
me.
yeah, that does hit.
Yeah.
I thought Ty goes to defender.
Does it? I think Ty goes to attacker.
Gosh dang it! We need to figure this out.
Pretty sure it does.
A little.
Where's my book?
We're gonna. It will go to the attacker now. I'll look it up, and if I
Yeah,
am
you're good.
wrong, then I will give you advantage on your next 2 attacks or saves that you have to make.
There we go.
So with that one, roll a d4 for me again.
D4. A 2.
A 2.
Oh man.
So this one, he's still no physical damage from this one, but you need to make a wisdom saving throw for me,
Wisdom save 3.
and I'm gonna roll the
I
attacks
rolled.
for 12 thorns real quick while you do that.
17 for wisdom saving 3.
17. Okay, so you pass that. The clouding presence could have done a lot more to you on this, but you're able to kind of shake it off a bit, and you, in the future, take -3 to your wisdom saves.
Dang.
And 12 thorns, I rolled a 21 and a 13 to hit.
The 21 hits, 13 does not.
Okay,
All right.
D4. Just so you all know, you'll be rolling D4s if it hits, so just be prepared.
Yeah. Figured.
That is a 3.
3. Okay. So this one, not quite being able to cloud any kind of judgment you might have, but you feel the presence hitting you a lot as this wolf's paws just go through your body, inflicting no physical harm. And the last thing you guys hear before we move over to the wolves attacking Portia is a searing, burning howl coming through your minds. I need you all to make a wisdom saving throw.
All right.
Not you, Braylor, sorry. Just
Oh,
Coog
okay, never mind.
and 12 thorns. And all of the crew, all get 1 die for them. They pass. Surprisingly. Good job, crew members.
There you go. Proud of them.
Proud of them.
Wisdom for Coog and 12 thorns. What'd you guys get? Remember, Coog, you have a -3.
I have to another one.
Yes.
Another.
This
Okay.
is for the. It's almost.
Oh, are you kidding me? Gosh, dang it.
Bad.
I got a 3.
So a 0. Oh, a 3 total?
No, I got a 3
Oh, okay.
minus. That's with a -3, so I got a 6.
Okay. 12 thorns?
That is an 8 for me.
An 8. Okay, so both of you guys, this howl kind of enters your mind and just kind of overcomes all possibility of thought that you have. You are both currently paralyzed.
Well, that's no fun.
Paralyzed. Gosh dang it.
You watch the crew members who were able to make it out of this with no problem. And
There we go, crew members.
Let's see real quick. Let me do one thing. And we move on to. I will do Portia's combat later because she did fall asleep.
Hey, sleepyhead.
We cannot blame her. She is pregnant. Sleep is very good for pregnant people, so I will not
I don't know what's
be
going
worried about it at
on.
all.
We need to play earlier.
What's going on?
Getting attacked by wolves.
So I'll do her combat
Get
to
up
see
there
what
and
happens
join
to
us.
her later, but right now we're jumping to top of the round. Well, not top of the round. This is second. Coog, you're up. Followed by, we are going to do Coog, 12 Thorns, Crew, then Braylor. That's how we're doing it.
All right.
You said I'm paralyzed?
Yes, you are.
Okay. What can I do while being paralyzed? The
Not
player's
much.
creature's incapacitated. See the condition and can't move or speak. The creature automatically fails strength and dexterity saving throws. Attack rolls against the creature have an advantage. Any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet of the creature. So, let's see. I'm pretty sure I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Let's
I mean,
see.
technically, you could cast a spell, I think, if it doesn't have any components, like somatic.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
So if you have anything like that, you might be able to. If not, you can just make another save at the end of your turn to see if you become unparalyzed.
Okay, 1 minute. I'm trying to see spells. No, everything's like the only one I have is verbal. Can I talk?
I don't know. Everything is locked up, I'm pretty sure, with paralyzed.
Yeah, hold on. Incapacitated. Can't move
Can't
or
move
speak.
or
Okay,
speak.
so I can't do anything, so I'm just going to do my saving throw.
Okay.
Wisdom
Wisdom
saving
save.
throw?
Yep.
-3?
-3.
Gosh dang it. I got 7.
Okay. So yeah, you were not able to shake
We're
this
still
off.
paralyzed.
You're still paralyzed by this howl that just poured through your body. And 12 Thorns. Same thing, paralyzed. What would you like to try to do?
Sounds awful.
Yeah, paralyzed is the worst.
Yeah.
Not really a whole lot of options.
Yes. Oh, an incapacitated creature can't take actions or reactions.
Try and just break out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll just try and see if I can shake it off.
Let's see. Wisdom.
That is a 19.
A 19 does. So you are able to shake out of this stupor the wolves have put you in, and you are now no longer paralyzed. But that is the end of your turn. And the crew are not doing as good as last time. Last one hits. So
There we go.
Crew, they start trying to slash at these wolves. The wolves are a bit more ready for them this time, kind of jumping around. One of them fires a shot from behind just as a wolf is dodging one of the cutlasses of the other dude, and is able to do an okay amount, actually, to one of the wolves as it vanishes from sight. Seemingly, you see it fade to nothing as it's falling over. You can assume, possibly, that it is dead. And then Braylor.
All right. I'm going to go full swinging at these guys with my quarterstaff again. See if it hits this time. That's a nat 20 right there.
That definitely hits.
So that hits. And did you say if these were fiends or undead? Would Braylor know? I'm still going to use Divine Smite, but
Didn't you define anything earlier?
I'm gonna. So there, I made a weird thing. I shouldn't have done it because it was more just for flavor. Where they're partially fiend but mostly fey. So
okay. Well, I get to add an extra D8 of damage if it's a fiend.
Do an extra D8, but half it.
Okay, that worked. But I did get a nat 20, so I'll roll for my base damage, the 1d6, so I get 6 plus 2. So actually 6 plus. So that's a 12 to start.
You would max the Divine Smite, all the damage, and then you do the new roll, right?
Oh, I maxed Divine Smite damage as well.
Yeah, for the crit.
So that's do I double the Divine Smite dice as well for the crit, or is that just the weapon attack?
I believe with the crit you double all dice rolls, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Divine Smite just says when you hit with a melee attack, you can expend spells.
Yeah.
All right,
you basically do the max damage you do with your staff, with the normal Divine Smite and the extra damage, and then roll.
All right, this is going to be a lot then.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm rolling with, so that'd be 20 from just the first Divine Smite, and then, oh my gosh, I rolled 3 ones, so 23 from the Divine Smite damage, plus 12, so 35 damage total.
Okay. So this one, your staff glows with a brilliant light as you slash it through both of them, just slamming them both off guard. It makes physical connection with these shadowy.
Yeah, and it's all radiant damage if that makes any difference.
As you see the radiant damage pouring through them, they do not like it in the slightest.
Nice.
And as your staff connects with their physical forms, the shadowy figures the shadowy figure doesn't fade, the shadow around it fades away, and you can now see that after being hit by the radiant damage, they are corporeal wolves, color scheme, dark as night, dark as the shadows, with this light coming out of their eyes and mouths.
All right. And I do get a second attack.
Yep.
So let me try that again. That is 21. So
21.
I'll roll, and I'll expend another spell slot to do another Divine Smite. So I'll roll the base damage first. That's 7 plus 4, so 11, 13. And then you said have the last D8, right?
Yep.
So that's just 15 damage on that next one.
Okay.
And then I'm going to shield bash for my bonus action.
Okay. I doubt these guys can beat you in a strength contest, but we'll see.
Yeah, I got an 18.
Nope.
Yep.
So yeah, you
There we
slam
go.
another one away. This time in its corporeal form, it does slam down to the ground, and is knocked prone about 5 feet away from you.
Sweet.
And we'll move back up to the top of the round with the wolves again.
Okay.
And they're going to make all their same attacks. This time, one is going to lunge at you, Braylor, with another bite attack,
All right.
but that is a 9 to hit.
Yeah, no.
A 22 to hit.
Yeah, 22 will hit.
Okay.
So
he lunges
D4.
at you.
And I haven't.
Huh?
I haven't been taking any damage from when they've
Nope.
been hitting me, right?
No.
All right, just making sure. I rolled a 1 on a D4.
Okay. And yeah, so he slams into you. One of the wolves is actually dead. I'm gonna say the one you knocked prone is.
Oh,
You
okay.
well below the middle ground of group health. So you only get one. Those 2 attacks against you is this wolf kind of. Oh, actually, you knocked him into corporeal form, so you do take damage this time. Sorry, it's not a D6.
Oh, yeah.
You take 7 points of slashing damage as his claws this time do rake against your flesh, being fully corporeal as he is. And then the other ones start attacking you guys. Coog and 12 Thorns. Coog first with a 14 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has advantage anyway. So.
Oh, yeah. 14, so that's the first one to hit. The second one doesn't hit, even with advantage. I rolled
So
the first
so
one
I'm just
crit.
only thing I can do is do my wisdom saving throw.
Yeah. So roll a d4 for me first.
D4 got a 3.
A 3. Okay. And you take, as it's an auto crit, you take 4 points of slashing damage.
Wait, guys, Mr. McDuck looks like he retained inspiration.
Ooh. Inspiration.
Ooh,
What?
yeah. There we go.
Coog.
What was that?
You have an inspiration from
Someone gifted you inspiration.
Oh, he's gonna give
One
it
of the
to
viewers.
me.
Yes, he gave it to you.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Now my wisdom saving throw -3 plus a d6. I got. It's not gonna matter, so I'm not gonna use it.
Okay. So with that, you. Oh well. No, you don't have to make a wisdom save yet. You haven't hit the threat. They're attacking you, 12 Thorns now too, and natural 20 for the first one.
That'll hit.
Okay. And the second one is a natural 1. Look at that.
There we go.
Polls.
Duality.
I would say that would even cancel out the natural 20 if we're being real. Just a normal attack.
Just a normal attack.
So the wolf swings at you with ever increasing fervor to deal some kind of pain to your psyche. Roll a d4 for me, and for the natural 20, they don't do much with natural 20s. It just does some damage. 3 points of slashing damage. But
That is a 1 on the D4.
a 1.
Yep.
Nice. That's the best thing you could have rolled. You get a.
That's good.
Roll a wisdom save for me to see what you get actually.
That is a 9.
You fail. So you get a -2 to your wisdom as well.
Yippee!
And the crew members, they'll do 1 attack against to see what happens with them. That will hit.
Ooh.
That will hit. So you see a lot of the crew members are starting to kind of wander, seemingly dazed. Some of them are just still trying as best they can to attack. None of them look wounded in any way. And we move to Braylor Coog.
Yep.
My turn now?
Yes, it is.
Wasn't it? Whatever. I can't do anything. Wisdom saving throw. I got a 11, and then I'm going to add that D6. I got a 16 total.
Nice. Yeah,
There we
so
go.
you are able to break out of the paralyze. Sadly, it is at the end of your turn that you make the save. But you are no longer paralyzed.
Great.
And 12 thorns. Well, I think I would allow you to make a bonus action if you want to, because incapacitated just says you can't take actions or reactions. So I think at the very end of this, you might be able to get.
You talking to me?
Yeah. If you have a bonus,
I can take my bonus action.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I'd like to give another bardic inspiration back to 12 thorns.
There we go.
Okay. And 12 thorns. What would you like to do?
Okay, so are the wolves like all up in our business? Like, is there? If I went 30 feet away, would there be any wolves next to me?
So around the camp, they've all kind of gathered you guys into this tight little circle. They were trying to circle around you, so there are wolves on all sides. You can probably run past down towards the beach a bit more. You might be able to get around.
He's a cat. He's going to get away from a wolf. I mean, come on.
The one wolf.
Climb a tree at least.
Climb a tree.
Okay, so am I within arm's reach of Coog?
You what?
Can I reach out and touch Coog? Are we close enough?
Yeah, we'd probably be close enough.
That would be up to you guys, since I don't have a little map there. You can say where you want to be now. But,
Okay, then I'm going to grab him and cast Thunderstep and teleport us both 90 feet away and do 3d10 to all the wolves if they feel unsafe.
Make sure you don't get any of the crew members in that.
Yeah, that's what I was
probably
just
will kill
thinking.
them.
It's a 10-foot range, so it shouldn't get them.
Yeah, I'm going to say
Okay.
the 3 that were first hit by Coog, that's where the crew members ran off. The 2 of them have come up to start attacking you guys. The crew are fighting about 3, and then you guys have these 2 on you that you can probably catch with a thunder step.
Okay.
Okay,
He does
then,
that. Where do we land?
The wolves have to make a con save first.
That stinking wrench on that workbench, man.
I got a 13 for whatever the save is.
That will not save.
Okay. So how
Suck,
much
wolves.
Okay, so all those that get hit by that takes 24 damage.
44?
24, not 44.
I was going to say, like, what the F, man? 44 damage? Where did this come from?
It wouldn't surprise me coming from 12 thorns, though.
Yeah.
In all honesty. 44 damage out of the pocket.
Out of the pocket, just like, ah.
So how much
Like,
was the
he
total
like
damage?
reaches in his pocket, just throws confetti in the air, like, ah, you're dead.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to teleport us to one side so that all of the wolves are on one side of us, so we're not surrounded anymore.
Good. This means I can do other things now.
It would be.
Yes.
You would probably leave your token in the same place, because that's 3 miles. You just went about 6 miles away.
Okay, but
What
I
the
still
heck?
didn't go quite that far.
Oh, it's only going 90 feet.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
with the tokens, it's all weird, but you're still there. We'll just remember. I'll write it down. You guys are 90 feet away from the wolves.
No, I like to think this is to scale right now, and this is a huge battle.
Work.
And how much was the total
It's to
damage?
scale right now.
How much was what?
The total damage.
24 damage.
They each took 24, so if there's 2 of them, that's 38 overall.
Yep. Sad.
Nice.
48.
I don't have any bonus actions I want to do because all of them would hurt Poog, so I'm gonna just end my turn.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. I don't think you'd know that they died, but they died. I'm gonna just tell you.
Cool.
The ones that were
We're 90 feet away, so it's like, huh?
yeah.
Just
And,
watch them dissipate a little bit.
Watch them dissipate into like dust.
Yeah.
Don't know what happens with the crew, but I'll roll for them anyways. 3 and a
Okay, go
4. Okay. You hear some gunshots off in the distance, 90 feet away from you. Probably see them firing into the group. Not sure if any of them made any connected shots or anything like that, though. And
I am way too far away to hear these gunshots, right?
yes,
Because I'm like past. Yeah. Okay. Never mind then.
you're ways away.
Oh, yeah.
But it is your turn now.
All right. Sweet. And I only got one more wolf in
Yeah.
front of me.
One wolf, fully corporeal.
All right. Well, we're gonna swing at him. That's another natural 20. All right. I'm gonna expend my last first level spell slot and do Divine Smite again. So that was 22 damage plus plus 12, so 34. And now I'll roll my d8s again.
It is dead.
Plus 7,
Fully dead.
so 41,
Oh my god.
43, and then 45
Wow.
damage to that wolf there. All radiant
Nice.
damage.
I would like to imagine that Coog with his polar bear ears could like hear this boom from like miles and miles and miles away.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was Billy Braylor. Yeah.
Yeah, Braylor's getting busy right now.
Slam it down, and you see the holy light just searing this this monstrosity of a wolf, and
Mhm.
it is just kind of bathed in the holy
Is it-
light and just is just completely obliterated down to ash, basically.
All right, sweet.
No more.
So I have no idea where I am in relation to everyone else, right?
You do not.
I don't think any of
You
us
can
do.
see where the island is,
Yeah.
so technically you know where the island is, but
Hmm.
you don't really know, seeing as you've teleported to this island twice now.
All right.
Yeah. What the heck is it with
So-
this place, huh? You like it over there?
Yeah, I mean, carnivorous plants, they haven't really done anything to me right now, so purple's a good color. I'm gonna like go to a clearing where I can see like everything around me, preferably by the shoreline. I'm waiting for an opportunity to get across. Is it like high tide right now, low tide?
Right
is a good
now
thing.
we're reaching into
Because that's a long way to
high
swim.
tide of the night.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna set up camp and use one of my second level spell slots to cast Find Steed. That's the name of it. Yeah, and summon my big old ram. And once the it gets down to low tide, I'm gonna try and attempt to swim across with my ram as a big raft sort of deal.
If the healer's riding on a ram, is it a ambulance?
What?
If the healer is riding on a ram, is that a ambulance?
That's a good question.
I didn't hear it the first time either, and then I was like, wait a second, what? Or ambulance?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
No, I mean he's totally a ambulance. That's his main purpose.
Oh
help.
my gosh.
Transport sick people. But yeah, I'm just gonna like build a campfire and sort of settle down, and my ram will let me know if anything's coming towards me. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Need a theme song. Never mind. That's not as funny as I thought it was gonna be.
12 Thorns and Coog, you guys are a ways away from the battle. You both have 30 feet of movement, right? So it would take you.
I have 40 feet actually, but
40 feet. Okay. So it would take you less time to get back if you wanted to try running back, but you're a ways away from the wolves now. You don't know what's exactly going on with them, but they aren't chasing you. You can definitely see the crew down by the beach still fighting the wolves. So.
Okay, I'm going to look at 12 Thorns and say, hey, that was a really good idea. I liked it. What should we do?
I just didn't want to keep getting bitten by wolves, so you do what you want. I'm staying over here.
Okay, I gotcha. I totally agree with that. I wouldn't want to be bitten by these warm, cuddly beasts either. No big deal.
These misunderstood.
These misunderstood poor animals.
Yeah.
I should just use my animal tamer defeat and see what happens. But so they're 90 feet away. It would take me over 2 moves. Well, a move to get within some attack range.
With a dash, you can get to.
Oh yeah, with a dash, I could get there.
But you'd miss actions, so that is up to you.
I know he's staying here. There's 3 wolves left. It looked like they were doing pretty good damage with iron weapons. So I actually am going to dash back. I'm going to get 80 feet and go. Just take off like a mad polar bear.
Oh.
Once I get there, I'm going to pull out my longsword.
Nice.
And prepare an action of just attacking two-handed with my longsword.
There you go.
As you approach, you see the wolves have taken the next turn, attacking some of the crew members. They hit a fair amount that time, actually. 3, 1. And yeah, so you see like maybe 2 or 3 of the crew members are just kind of lying on the ground. Not doing much. They're just clearly alive because they sometimes roll over, but they're not doing much. Some of them
they writhe in
wandering
pain.
around. No, they're not writhing in pain. They're just
like mob.
Yeah, and then some of them are just wandering around, not paying attention to the wolves at all. And then you probably have like 3, I'd say probably 4 of them that are still attacking and fighting, trying to take care of them. And we'll go to your turn now. What do you want to do? You have now made
my turn.
To them. Yep.
I thought a dash action was my turn.
Yeah, but you've made it over to them sooner than they did. That was the wolves' turn, and they were attacking. And
sweet. Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Back over to you.
I have, now that I can see what's going on, the wolves are still attacking the 3 crew members that are still fighting. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 4.
4? Yeah. Okay, I can't move any farther. I can only cast a spell if I want. I wasn't prepared for this. I didn't think I'd get another turn so quickly. Sorry. Touch. Can't heal. Can't touch anybody. Your wounds. No. Thunder Wave is on me. Fairy Fire. That's not going to do much. I'm just going to do a Vicious Mockery, actually, on one of the wolves and see what that does. A psychic damage.
Actually, only 2 wolves left. I forgot to do.
Okay, on one of the wolves, I'm going to cast Vicious Mockery. The wolf closest to me, if there is one. It's a Wisdom saving throw of 14. I insult the crap out of this wolf. And in between every word, I've got a little enchantment like, you suck.
You're the worst. Stop attacking us.
Yeah. It's got to just succeed or take 1d4 or 2d4 psychic damage and have disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn. This spell's damage increases by 1d4 when you reach on it. So it takes what is that? 3 damage if it fails the 14 save. Okay. 3 damage. What do I notice when it takes this damage? Does it do anything? Does it notice? Does it anything happen?
It
Not much?
kind of shakes its head a bit, but it's not really. It doesn't bother it too much.
Okay. All right.
And they will take their turn. One of them will attack the crew members. Does really good. The other one will attack you. Does really bad. Does the highest he rolled was a 15.
When
That?
when is it 12 Thorn's
12
turn?
Thorn.
Because I'm still in
Sorry.
range.
Yeah.
I can still attack
Yeah.
them.
Sorry about that. I
Yeah, we
forgot.
just assumed you wanted to stay there, so.
I thought you were.
Yeah.
I thought you were 4 miles away for some reason.
4 miles away. I totally thought.
Yeah, sorry, I
mean-
misread the map there.
Yeah, 12
I'm
thorns.
still staying far away, but I've got 120 feet range, so I'm just gonna Eldritch Blast into
There you go.
Yeah.
the crowd.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
First one is a 27, and the next one is a natty 1.
27 definitely hits. Natural 1 doesn't. Fizzles.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Fizzle.
I feel like you've only ever hit with one of your Eldritch Blasts every time you use it.
Yeah, totally. It's like you throw so much force into one of them that you kind of slip on the second one, and you're like, oh, dang it! Ah!
Yeah.
Turn into a stormtrooper on your second.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
So that's 6 damage on whatever wolf I hit. I'm not really aiming for anyone in particular. I'm just kind of like artillery firing into the crowd.
Oh, that's why. I get it now.
Okay. One of the wolves died. There's one left.
Nice.
That Elvis doesn't do the last.
Okay.
Does the music sound echoey?
The music sounds great to me.
Okay. Good
Yeah.
for me then.
Sounds fine.
That's good. To me, it sounds like it's playing like 5 times over itself. But anyway,
Oh,
that's the last remaining wolf. I've already attacked the crew members with him. So back to your guys' turn. Coog, what would you like to do?
Coog is going to. He'll use his whatever 40 feet of speed he needs to get over to the wolf, and he's going to use his long sword. Sorry, two-handed, and take a big old swipe at the wolf. I need to roll a d20 first. Sorry.
Got it.
That would be a 18 to hit,
Yes.
or a hit. Sorry, an 18. Gosh, and I do 5 damage.
Okay.
Does that look any different to me? I'm kind of experimenting with all these different
so
attacks.
The weapon kind of just passes through it. You see some of the shadow pulling along the blade as it goes through.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to have as much of an effect as you would want it to have, but it did do something.
Okay.
Okay, 12 thorn.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep blasting.
There you go.
Pew, pew, pew.
Okay, I've got a 17 and a 27.
Both.
Oh yeah!
Roll high.
And that's an 8 for damage and a 3 for damage.
Gosh. Second one was like a sniper shot, but it just like grazed. It was like a sexy, like, yeah, I'm gonna blow the hairs off of his head.
Yeah. Just barely grazed the side of his whisker.
Okay.
Wonder how good of a shot I am. I was gonna take his ear off. Oh yeah, I did it.
See, will the last 3 remaining crew members steal your glory?
Oh man.
One of them hits. Maybe. No.
Oof.
Yeah, no. D6 can't do it. So, no.
Hey, how many crew members have died over this
Yeah, that's what I was
whole
wondering.
adventure?
And the island?
Yeah, no, just over the whole process since we left. Just wondering.
How much manpower are we gonna have to
Had
replace?
people die. The
Yeah.
one who got killed by the Banshee, and then
Yeah,
one
thanks.
of them
Thanks,
floated away
Portia.
here.
There you go, Amy.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
also,
also, I
friends
think
to
a
their
bunch were
deaths.
killed by that squid monster too, right? Or the
I forgot
Leech
about-
Leviathan?
I forgot about the
Yeah.
Leviathan. Yeah, you lost like 7.
Half the crew.
Yeah.
yeah.
You've lost
All right.
about 10. 10 members of the crew.
Oh man,
Yeah, that.
Dang.
I forgot
Going
about the
great.
Leviathan. Where's the mini-boss?
I have not stopped thinking about it.
I have
been
not
hunting on
stopped
that.
thinking about it.
So this last guy, he takes a blast at it with his pistol. Not even close enough to really do much. Wolf, it's kind of getting a little bit jittery, but he is
Yeah.
still on the attack. And he charges you 12. Well, he's not going to charge you. Yeah, right? With a.
He's 4 miles away.
With 19 to hit on the first attack,
Yeah, he hits.
and a
Nice.
7 on the second.
And miss.
Okay, D4 for me.
D4.
Come on, you got
Hey,
it.
3.
Okay.
Dang it.
So wisdom saving throw for me with a -3.
They still have that mic? Oh, critical
Yeah.
fail. So I got a 1 plus 2 minus 3. I got a 0.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, this thing, it's clouding your mind even more. You
Do I
now
start to
take-
melt?
No, but you take -7 to wisdom save now.
Oh my gosh.
Dang. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
So
just,
this is my
it's just
other-
into
my other
your
character.
mind. It's like pieces of the shadow as it claws through you are just
Thinking
finding
Wolf
its way
jumped
up
inside my
your
head.
brain and clouding it. Yeah. And this is gonna be the last turn, I'm pretty sure, unless you both miss everything. Dude, you're up with the wolf.
I'm up.
Close to
Which,
death.
is there anybody around me, like within anything, any bit?
Yeah, there's-
bit of me?
There's there's 3 crew members still on the wolf trying to fight with you. The
Okay,
rest
so
of them are
they're
kinda
right
wandering
next to
around,
me.
not doing much.
All right, cool. Dang it! I don't really have anything that's good, so I'm just gonna attack with my longsword again. 1d10 plus 3. Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting the d20 used to attack it. I did a 2. I missed.
Dang.
Okay.
I'm super foggy mind right now. I just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
miss.
Sweet.
Okay. Bonus action at all? I don't know if
No.
you still have. Okay. 12 thorns.
I have 1, but
Let's see if you can hit with your blasts again. Might be able to
Come
finish
on,
it
12
off.
thorns.
You know?
Okay,
wait.
just a second. I think I have a method that'll be better.
wait,
so,
wait.
so-
Can I do a reaction? Gosh dang it!
What is your reaction?
No, I'm sorry. Carry on. I'm
Okay.
Dang it.
Okay, 12 thorns.
Okay, so first I'm going. Oh, dang it, no, never mind. I would need 2 bonus actions. So instead, I'm going to use my feline's agility and I'm going to run right up to the wolf.
Okay.
Bite it on the butt.
Yeah.
And once I'm right up there, I'm going to grab food and I'm going to thunder step again.
Oh, you
There you
Whoa. Sorry. Okay. What was
That's
it you were gonna
funny.
do? You run up right here.
Thunderstep me
Thunderstep
again.
again. Got it. With so this time, this wolf is next to Koog and 3 of the crewmates.
Okay, I didn't realize the crewmates were close enough for that, so I won't understand. That sounds like a bad idea.
They are.
We'll just
They
turn
are
back
all
time a little
kind of
bit.
surrounding the wolf. Last ditch effort, kill it. Everyone's there. So
Yeah.
you get
I'm
those.
still running
Unless you
in.
want to. All right.
Can I have a reaction to this? If I feel his hand on me, I'm gonna grab both the crew members.
I think Thunderstep can
If you
only
do that, my spell will just fail. So I see everyone together. I kind of like sulk a little bit. I really but instead, I'm just gonna run up and I'm going to try and seal the kill by stabbing it with my magic longsword.
Yeah.
go ahead with that.
That is a 23 to hit
Definite.
and 9 damage.
Is it dead?
Is it dead yet?
Oh, so close.
No, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna say it's dead.
Wait,
It's
if it's not dead, I have a finisher.
yeah. So you slice through it.
Haven't
And it's like
finished it.
it's so close to dying, literally 1 hit point, and
And then I'm
Man.
going to use claws to finish it off.
perfect. So you take out your magic longsword, and the magic, you see the smoke like it did with the longsword that Koog was using. It does coalesce around the blade, but this time the magic kind of blasts out and kind of burns it, making it dissipate a bit. And you slice it one last time with your claws right across its snout, payback for all the dogs that have chased you around. And this one little thing, the shadow dissipates, the crimson light kind of staying for a moment before it fades away, and you guys are now left alone on the beach. Perfect time
Balls.
to finish its cycle.
Nice. That was a good dramatic moment.
I do need you all to remember your negatives.
Yeah.
Before they stick with you.
I was just at -2, right?
Yes, -2
Pretty sure.
for Greylord, -2 for 12 thorns, and -7 for Coup. We haven't figured out
Yeah.
Portia
Man.
yet. We'll see how she does next time.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Pregnant.
I would can I just go around and use cure wounds on all of the crewmen that need health, and I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna do it as a oh my gosh, a ritual, so I don't have to expend any spell slots.
Nice.
Does it allow for rituals?
I don't know because I don't have anything else that's ritual. So
It would say
Okay.
R next to it on D&D Beyond. Just have
so next to components or just next to the name?
like
Component.
Let's see.
So in the name it should say components, and then it has the V, the S, and then if it has ritual, it would say an R.
Oh balls! It doesn't have an R. Never mind.
dang.
I didn't know that.
I mean,
Yeah, cure wounds. Yeah, I know.
you've still got a good amount of the
Doesn't
night left after fighting, so it's a possibility.
And Brailer was there. I have lay on hands. Miles away.
Miles away.
A beam of light shoots out of the air and traces its way over the guy. Lay on
You
hands.
see me riding the goat gloriously through the plains. No.
Alright, you guys,
Interruption, we have hit 5 level 12 raiders.
Hey. There we go.
Have we really?
That's awesome.
Huh.
4 is good, 5 is better. 5 gets us to the first tier we need. Oh, we did it. Oh,
Oh.
that's what you said. Ha! Whoops.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yup.
The first
There we go.
tier
Yup.
anyway. Cool. Anyway, after having beaten the wolves, you guys do still have most of the night, you were fighting for a mere, what is it, 6, 12, 18, 24, 36, like almost a minute, 3 minutes.
Mhm.
Not very long. You have
Cool.
pretty much all the night left if you want to try for a short rest. Some of you it will be slightly dangerous, and some of you will be a bit more dangerous.
Yeah.
12 Thorns doesn't care at all about any risk or danger. He climbs up into a tree and passes out immediately.
Okay.
Coog kind of like looks at him while he's doing this, like, oh my gosh. And so he's like gathering up the crew, and he's like putting them all, and he ties them up because he's worried about them floating away. He ties them to the tree, and then he goes, and then he's like, all right, and he creates another fire, and then he creates one on the other side of the tree, and then he goes to sleep.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this super dramatic music, I just see Braylor and his goat standing by the shore, debating whether or not they want to take the long swim. The wind's like blowing through the goat. He has a long goatee and it's just like waving in the wind. And Braylor in Goliath or in Giant is just going to be talking to this goat and being like, well, my friend, I think it is time that we find the rest of our party. And then they're going to go for the long swim and head for the near shore.
Okay. As you're lunging off into the water with your goat, ram, sorry.
Yeah.
Sheep.
Yeah, Ram.
And you start off, make a perception check for me as the night goes on. You travel probably about a mile to the shore. You can travel further.
Ooh, that's a natural 20 right there. I've
perfect.
rolled 3 nat 20s this session. This is great.
Yeah, so you
Love it.
start off into the water, and as you're looking towards the shore, you want to reach a faint glow, kind of shining across the waves, catches your eye from behind you. And back towards the center of the island, you can see, looking backwards, there is bright light, kind of towards the middle, just as you're
All right.
swimming away. Just so you know.
All right. Yeah, Braylor would head towards that light because that's the only sign he sees.
Turn around in the
Of
water.
anybody else.
Okay.
Hmm.
Got it. So we'll real quick before we jump back over to Coog and 12 Thorns in your nice little nap. Something is happening. The crew they stay awake, but we'll get to that in a second. Braylor. Oh no. Forgot to watch my ads. I was thinking I wasn't gonna let them ever play while we're actually doing stuff. One just went off, I think.
Oh, great.
So.
Oh, they've been
I don't see
doing
any
that.
on the screen.
Yeah, they've been doing that the whole time.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like it just pops up every now and then. I'm pretty sure it just postpones our play, doesn't it?
I hope so. But yeah, Braylor, so
Yeah,
you
I
start
think that's
heading
what happened.
towards the center of the island. It's 9:17. You start heading towards the middle of the island. I need you to make a perception check for me.
All right. Perception.
And while we do that, hold on to what you get. Coog and 12 Thorns. You were jostled awake by the crew members who were standing guard at night, seeing you guys sleep. They decided to post a watch themselves. And one of them approaches you, probably a younger man. Scars. He's got plenty of scars. He seems like more of a rough young soul. He approaches and says, I don't really know what to say about it, but you might want to come and see for yourselves. people have come to visit us. They don't seem
This had better be good.
they don't seem hostile in any way like those wolves in this flock, but you might want to talk to them. They seem a bit more diplomatic than us.
How big is the tree that 12 Thorns crawled into?
Not too big. There's a couple branches that are probably about 10 feet off the ground. If you want
Okay,
to
like how big is the trunk of this tree?
Oh, the trunk?
How big is
this
this
tree? You probably
tree?
get your arms around it. It's not huge.
Okay, I want to do a strength check to see if I can hit the tree as hard as I can to make 12 Thorns fall out of it.
Okay. Use your strength check real quick, and then we'll see if 12 Thorns has to do athletics or acrobatics.
That wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but 14.
Okay. Yeah, so you slam into it, and the tree does jostle a bit. 12 Thorns, yeah, you can make a quick either athletics or acrobatics, whatever you want.
Oh, my! We can't hear you.
Can I get a bonus for using my claws to just dig?
Just grab
Yeah,
it.
I'll
Yes.
give you a +3 bonus for your claws instead of advantage.
And the cat-like reflexes, yeah, makes sense.
That
Oh,
brings it up
shut
to
up.
25s.
Balls, man. What the heck?
Okay, yeah. So the tree starts to shake a bit, and you are definitely very ready for it, and just kind of dig your claws in, hold on without a problem.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna
then-
glare down at Coog. I
a
was
little bit
gonna
annoyed.
get down on my own.
Coog's a little bit annoyed, but he's just like giggles still, like, eh. And he walks and he follows that young crew member over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get down and follow as well, but still shooting dirty looks at Coog.
Okay.
Coog's gonna blow kisses.
Blushes a bit.
You guys start moving over. He leads you back towards down the beach a ways. Not down the beach, sorry, down the tree line of this forest.
Oh.
And as you start approaching some of the taller trees that are more of an autumn color, you see these tall figures. The tallest of them is probably about 8 foot tall. The shortest probably about 6'6", 6'7" ish.
Okay.
They're pretty tall. They're completely, seemingly, made out of wood. They have wooden textures across their face and their arms. The clothes they wear is all leaves and grass and flowers. Anyone who knows about them, they are dryads. The tree folk who live here, they have approached your camp and were wanting to talk. You see one of the crew members who's still there says, I don't really know what we can do with this. I'm not fit to make any decisions. I just, when we're on the ship,
Coog
we
just
get
walks
on deck
out,
and
puts a paw on his back, and says, "I got it."
yeah, you gotta let out a sigh of relief. Thank the gods. I can't do this anymore.
Like
And he
you
kinda
go
walks
sit
back.
down, all right? Yeah.
Walks back over towards the beach, just mumbling to himself. And the tallest of the dryads approaches you, and she looks down. How tall are you? You're like
I'm 6 foot
6
or
foot.
6'6".
She's looking down
Something.
at you from. She's 8 foot tall, looking down a bit.
Yeah.
What are you doing in our woods? Heard disturbances. The wolves don't come out unless we have some kind of invaders or visitors, and heard the howling.
God.
Well, I was trying to sleep.
Who's gonna respond to her directly, like super respectful, like, "Hey, really sorry. Our ship came to this island. We've been just kind of looking around and encountered all this fun stuff that you guys have here. All these crazy obnoxious enchantments and I don't know what. Okay, I don't even know. But I float now. I'm a dude balloon. Sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
We just want to. We're trying to go. We're literally trying to leave now. Like, if we can help in any way that you need, we're totally happy to help. But we're trying to leave. I'm looking for 2 friends. That actually, I got one in my bag here. I don't know how that happened. Still freaked out about that. One's
Really
somewhere else and one's somewhere else. One of them is about as tall as you are. Have you seen him? The other one's a female. She's Earth Genasi. Have you seen them?
She's just like with very
Confused eyes. All right, Kook's gonna notice this and be like, "All right, never mind." I can tell you have no clue what I'm talking about. We mean you no harm, unless you attack us. Please don't attack us, because I don't want to fight anything else.
12 Thorns has his paws behind his back, and he's kind of like picking little bits of bark and stuff from when he dug into the tree out, hoping that they don't notice.
It's hoping they don't notice. That's funny.
She looked at you. She's, we are the more inviting of the folk of this island. You don't have anything
Fantastic
from us.
Thank you.
If you're searching for a way off of the island, the only way you can do that is by speaking to Lady Vemeris. Nope, that wasn't her name. Oh no. Different name.
Is the Dryad saying this?
Yes. No.
Wait, no. Hold up. That's
no,
not
it is. You'd have to seek an audience with Lady Vemeris. She's
All right.
Shrine is found in the center of the island in the caves there. She's the only one who can grant passage off of the island. If you try to leave prior to that, you'll find yourselves constantly drawn back.
Okay. Is there a easy way to get to Lady Vermery?
The only real way is walking. The storm.
Oh, you know. Please, please don't tell me walking, because
there are a few passageways that take you directly to her. With the storm giant at the top of the mountains, they have one on the island of Midas. I would not suggest going there. He's very greedy.
Okay, hold on. There are passageways that take us directly there. One of them is with a storm giant.
Yes, she has access to passage straight to Lady Vemeris' cave.
Okay, and one of them is with another who?
Goes by Midas. He's very unsavory, not someone I would suggest speaking to, plus you'd have to get across the ocean to his island. Very
Okay, and
the last
Okay.
is with,
stay away from Midas. What's his island? What's it look like? So I know to stay away
well,
from.
it's the one far off on the coast. You can see it glimmering in the moonlight, covered in gold. The greedy man.
The shiny one there?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, stay away from that one. Stay away from that island.
Oh.
And the
Alright,
last-
cool. We'll stay away from that one.
The last is on the island of the sentient plants. A being that
Sentient
I'm not-
plants?
I'm not familiar of. They're much worse than we are. Carnivorous. They eat anything that lands there. There's a being there who's he can grant access to one of these dwarfs. Although not hostile himself in nature, his cunning, his guile, sometimes he can take more from people who speak to him than they would like.
Okay, he's expensive. Alright, cool.
I would suggest that the best way, we can grant you swifter passage by foot with some of our magics to get there quickly.
Oh,
If you wish to travel.
please.
But those are the
Hey,
only-
can you promise me I'm not gonna float again? Like, just is there any way you can promise that?
I can't promise. It seems like the various effects that the island has have been nullified by some means for some time. I assume
That's super good to know.
the
All right.
giant had something to do with it. She's the only one with the capabilities of doing something.
The storm giant?
Yes.
All right, cool. You said
At
you
this
can.
point, I'm gonna pull out my scroll that I got from the storm giant. Be like, oh yeah, I met her. She turned the Doji off for me and gave me this here scroll. She also said that the people on the island would help me if I told you that I knew her. So, got
Oh my gosh.
anything you can help out?
You speak up now? You let me do all the talking, now you speak up?
Yeah.
Yes, not all of you need to visit Lady Vemeris, and I would suggest the least amount possible would be greatest. High numbers can cause for many more dangers when you enter a cave. But
Okay.
for those of you who wish to go, gather them here, and we can grant you a blessing to make quick travel to her cave.
Okay, I'll volunteer, because I want to go. So,
Yeah, I mean, like, we don't know what everyone else is. What if we just do this whole thing and they're off doing nothing?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, slacking off probably.
They said gather them here, so I don't think we can go find them. I don't know where they are. This is a huge island. I will just, again, I volunteer to go. If you're coming with me, great, let's go.
Yeah, cat and bear, let's do it.
Cat and bear.
Yeah, so if it's just you two. The dryad, she looks around at the rest of the crew members too, and all of them kind of like, they avoid eye contact. Some of them even just like turn around and start walking away, kind of. Like, yeah.
I'm gonna like suggest like, is there any way you can get these people to a ship? I don't know where it's at on this island, but there's a ship on next to the coast somewhere on this island. If you know where it's at, can you get these people there?
I'm not familiar. I haven't seen any ships near our shores, but most ships,
Okay, it's fine.
when they show up docking in the cove, so if they want to head that way, it's southeast here. There's not much we
Southeast?
can grant to them. We can grant them the same ability as you.
Please.
They have to travel across the island. They may not make it all the way.
Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna tell the crew like, hey, go back to the ship, and that's it. Like, let's just end this, okay?
So,
Yeah.
Go tell the captain what's happening and just go. Don't leave us here though, but stay on the ship.
And tell him that if we fix this, he owes me his hat.
The dryad closes her eyes as everyone's getting ready to leave and wander, and you see the leaves on her dress start to ruffle. A wind kind of picks up. Flowers start blooming and growing around you guys, and you feel just
Coog
like
loves it.
vigor.
Coog loves it.
Just entering into the sinew of your muscles. Everything just feels stronger. Than before. If you start moving around, you move at triple speed.
Nice.
And it will definitely help you get to the cave a lot faster. She'd let you know that it's on the other side of the mountain range, and she would suggest strongly that you go around the mountain. It will add about 30 minutes to your travel with the speed that she's granted, but it will save you a lot of trouble.
I'm all for it, and I listen and I thank her. And is there anything that I can do for you as a thank you?
There's nothing. Just leave our island as quickly as possible. We are friendly to
I
the
got
island,
it. I'm all for that. Again, if I can't do anything for you, all I have is my thanks, and I'm off.
Yeah, they'd all kind of bow and accept graciously the thanks that you give them, and
Nice.
then they'd wander back into the trees.
Cool. I'm out. I'm heading that way.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can catch one of their eyes before they turn around, just to wink at them and not follow.
You want to give me a finger?
Roll a d20 for me. We'll see if you catch one of the women or one of the
Yeah, both of them goes either way. I got a 12.
What?
He's gonna. Please
The
tell me he
so the
catches
lower
the
end
eye
is a
of one of
woman,
the
the higher
males.
end is a man. I'll just let you know. I don't. What did you?
Okay, so I got a 12, so I catch one of the dude's eyes, but I go both ways.
I go both ways. I'll swing whatever. No big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you wink at him. He kind of looks at you for a second. He's like, kind of bewildered, and then he kind of just smiles and turns back around and walks into the woods. Kind of
I tend to
having a
have
little
that
chuckle
effect
to
on
himself.
people.
I tend to have that
Yeah.
effect on you.
And
Still got it.
you guys can start your way. The crew members are kind of, some of them are like running around. You see some of them trying to run onto the water because they can run really fast now and doing all sorts of weird stuff for fun. And start your way towards the cave.
That's funny.
Braylor,
Yeah.
if you're heading towards the light, what did you get on your perception check?
I got a 23 on that second perception check.
You start seeing the vines. Some of them are starting to inch their way towards you slowly. Not too hard to dodge right now. They seem a little bit less aggressive than they were
And
in the sunlight.
I am on my ram, and we're just charging through.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
quickly.
some of them kind of reach out
So-
more kind of nonchalantly towards you. They're like almost like you're waking them up. They're like, huh,
Yeah.
start reaching out. What you mainly notice with your check is most of the vegetation, as you're looking at it, grows towards the light. The trees are kind of leaning. Most of the shrubbery is on the inside side of the tree that's towards the light. Lots of the vines are going down towards it. The trees, the roots that are coming out of the ground from the tree all kind of snake towards the center of the island. It takes you about 30 minutes charging full speed on your ram, and you enter a clearing. You see in the center of the clearing is a kind of elevated stone. It's kind of like not a bird bath per se, but like an elevated stone structure. In the middle of it is a pool of water. It's probably about just 2 foot by 2 foot of pool of water that you see there. And as you are approaching, out of one of the trees that's kind of like the roots are pouring over this structure, this creature pulls away from the tree and the rock. Its arm is like basically completely coated in rock. Its other half of its body is trees and roots, and these carnivorous vines are kind of snaking away around its head and face, and it kind of stands up. We haven't had life yet.
All day.
And he kind of, as you're talking to him, as he's saying this, make a perception check for me.
Alright. I got a 22. I've been rolling high perception,
Yeah.
which is good.
So, to your keen eye, you can see just a flash of movement, and this entity is now standing behind you. You hear him coming behind you. I wonder what he's came here for. Strange creature we haven't seen. And another flash, and he's back over towards the pond. If you weren't paying close attention, you sort of seem as if whatever you can tell that he's just moving at just incredible speed. And he's
Braylor will dismount from my ram. I am not here to cause any harm. We came across this island and have had nothing but wild magic has split all my group up, and I seem to come to your domain. Is there any way I could get back to my friends if you know where they are. Yes.
And he kind of looks down. He's seemingly talking to himself. Yes, we haven't had fresh meat from the land for quite some time. Fish, naiads, creatures of the sea, salty, not what we like, sweet flesh. And you see
Does
Is Braylor
Can we
have
do like
all
a-
this?
yeah,
Give you like a
seems he's
recap
talking
of
to
what's going
himself.
through Braylor's head.
Yeah.
The vines kind of start branching out a bit quicker towards you. Not crazy fast, they're still kind of seemingly groggy. Not too hard to avoid still.
As Braylor hears like this creature talking about eating him, consuming his flesh, he stands a little straighter, and will just be like, "As you may have noticed, I am not an easy flesh prey to capture. If you wish to consume me, you will have a hard time going at it. I am tough as the mountains."
He just starts crackling. Tough as the mountains, rocks, gems. Yes. If we wish to consume
If you wish for meat, I can summon a horse for an offering. All right. I'm gonna reach into my cloak of many things and get my last riding horse patch, and take that, throw it towards him, and I guess a horse just appears from where the patch hits the ground.
Okay. As it appears, these vines, just right where it is, they start circling up its legs. The trees almost start to bend over towards it, and the creature just runs. Once again, lightning speed straight to the front of the horse, and with just a horrible squelching sound, the vines all pull apart, just ripping limbs off of it.
Dang.
The horse screaming in pain as it does it, and the creature just like sitting there. He doesn't eat anything, but he's clearly enjoying what's going on.
This flesh offering comes with a price. You will get me off this island now. Can I roll persuasion to see if that does anything, or intimidation?
Roll a
Let's see which one's better.
I think I'd go with persuasion, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, they're the same anyway. Come on. I got a 13.
Okay. So he's still kind of like just soaking in all of this horse flesh that he got, and as you're looking towards it, the horse is almost clean by now already, and the vines are starting to get a bit more antsy. Some small vines starting to kind of wrap up your legs and stuff. Easy to kind of kick them off, not any big vines.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks back at you, that lightning speed again. He gets right up against your side. Let's the sweet flesh.
Braylor hasn't reacted at all. He's just standing stoically. But inside of his head, he's screaming at the time. But on the outwardly, he's just staring this creature dead in the eye. And he's assumed that this creature really likes a reaction from all of his things, so he's not giving him anything.
Perhaps we can come to an agreement. I will off the island. pounds.
I have given you hundreds of pounds of flesh just now.
And he, with that, flashes back over to the horse. The vines swarming around it in just a writhing mass. The bones cracking. It's just gone. And this time he charges kind of straight at you, and gets right up in your face. Not enough. It's been a minute. And he's kind of like, just straight up, almost drug addict, kind of tweaking a bit.
Yeah.
Twitching.
Huh. Let me think. Okay.
And he's kind of like reaching down towards your hand, trying to have his vines kind of wrap around a hand, a leg.
If you can promise me and my entire crew off of this island, I will give you a hand.
More on the island. And he kind of closes his eyes for a second. You see a lot of the vines kind of thrashing around, some of them reaching out away from the pool. I lied. There's no more flesh on the island, just 2 hands and we can let you off. An arm, perhaps. There's no more flesh here but you. And he's just straight up, kind of, the rocks are shifting, the roots are just trembling, and he's really...
I'm gonna do my last ditch effort, and I'm going to cast command at the 2nd level. So it has to do a wisdom 14 save.
Come on.
That's a 13.
Yes!
And I will just say sleep. Or rest. Yeah.
Can't put him to sleep.
Just rest. Yeah. Command him to... Because it's only a 1-word command. So just command him to stop.
Nah.
And
So what was the final command? Like exactly what you're saying?
Yeah.
Alright, let me think. So...
Obey.
He is up. He's like right up in your face, just like hands shaking, just like this long tongue just like reaching out of his mouth, kind of curling towards you. Just
it will just be wait.
wait,
Yeah. Or hold.
hold,
Yeah, hold.
hold.
Uh-huh. No, I don't know.
This sucks because
this is
I
gonna
can
be a
twist every single word
Yeah.
that you've suggested. For I'm gonna twist into anything.
Uh-huh.
So,
I will be...
I don't want to metagame for you.
No, yeah. Because it's just a 1-word command.
Yeah.
It will be... Final answer. It will be... Braylor has used this one multiple times. You would go with it. No, just surrender.
Surrender.
Use that one. So, yeah.
You instantly, he kind of, it kind of backs away a bit. It's still shaking and trembling and just really antsy, and it looks down for a second, just kind of its head twitching, and you see all of the vines on the trees just start thrashing around this grove. Just some kind of anger is just swelling up in them as they're just thrashing about. None of them are quite trying to come after you, but some of them are getting close. Like small vines grab at your legs before they just instantly kind of recoil, and you can kind of get a sense that this forest itself is just pissed off at something.
Yeah.
That's
So you said like the pool was like on a raised dais in the middle of this?
Yeah.
Well, Braylor recognizes that as like the only high ground, the only defensible point. So he's gonna get his ram and they're gonna just scamper up to the top of this bowl, and he'll be up there instead of right down on the ground.
Yeah, it's like not super high. From your height, you could probably look at the top of it. It's probably
Okay.
5 feet tall.
Okay. I mean, he's gonna get anything he can to separate himself. When he looks into like the dais, does he see anything?
Yes. As you're staring into it, you can see on the other side some crystals lining the ceiling of what seems to be some kind of underground cavern.
Yeah, but it's definitely not a reflection.
Yeah, so in
of any
it,
sort.
it's kind of strange. You can see your reflection in it, but it looks like you're crouching over the pool on the other side, while on this side you're standing looking up into it. So it's a weird reflection that you see there.
All right. So Braylo's going to jump in, but before he does, he's going to turn back to this creature and say, "May flesh never find its way back to your island," and then jump in, assuming that it's a portal.
Yeah.
Desperately hoping it's a portal.
As you say that, the trees just start to shake. The branches are just now coming almost fully to life, reaching down towards you. Vines are thrashing out to grab you, and you just, the last thing you see is this thing about you just release this nasty guttural howl, and you disappear through the cave and through the portal, and you come back up on the other side, crouching above what you now see is seen. No sound coming from it, but you can see just vines thrashing about on the other side, and this reflecting pool of water.
That was a close one. Almost lost my hand. Okay.
And with real quick, we got about 10 minutes left. This took a long time again, but that's okay. Coog and 12 Thorns. Yeah, it takes you about an hour and a half running around the far side of the mountain.
Okay.
If you want to know what you saw on your way there, I will let you know. But
I'm super curious. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, let's see. Where's my map? So I can see. So you run around this mountain on the outside. I forgot to add it because I don't even know how I forgot to add it. But in between these two mountain ranges, there is a lake with a big island in the middle of it. So as you're running down the side of the mountain, you have to kind of go around the shore of that lake. Running through the trees, you see all sorts of creatures. A lot of people, as you're running by, kind of jump into trees and seemingly disappear, merging with the tree itself. Running through the lake, you see humanoid creatures jumping out of the water, kind of staring at you as you run by. As you're branching down the top of the mountain range down here, reaching back up to get towards the center of the mountain range, you can see, looking up the mountain as you're running by, massive figures standing towards the peaks, some of them fighting, some of them hurling large stones down towards the bottom. None of them has noticed you, and as you kind of get closer towards this cave area, the wildlife seems to all go away. It's just kind of more of a swampy area with not too much wildlife that you can see in it running how fast you are, but there's plenty of sure footing. You can make it to the cave in about an hour and a half-ish. And 12 Thorns, you recognize the entrance to this cave. You've been here before, obviously.
Oh, hey, I know this place. Coog, don't go swimming in here unless you want to meet the big simple giant lady, which, I mean, she was pretty cool, so maybe you should.
He says, he like kind of thinks about it. He's like, a giant lady. All right, whatever. What are we doing?
Well, I went in and jumped into the first puddle I found, so I imagine we're supposed to just not jump into any puddles and we'll find the thing in here that we're
All right,
supposed
don't jump.
to.
Don't jump into a puddle. Find a lady. A lady. Just a second. I wrote it down. Lady Vermery.
Vemeris.
Let's go try and find Lady Vermery.
Sounds good.
Am I in this same cave? Do I hear them, or am I somewhere else?
If you guys are being loud,
I'm not trying to be quiet. I'm just going to start walking into the cave.
yeah, you could probably hear
Yeah, I'm
the
not
footsteps,
inside either.
kind of approaching, padding along. Well, actually, where you're at, let's see. Let's switch you guys over there real quick.
Oh boy! Yes.
There we go.
Okay, that's the entrance that we just came in? Or.
So you guys are here. So Braylor, where
All right.
I can't move.
Huh.
I put you on
That's
the map.
fine.
Ah! Oh no!
I think.
There we go. You're over here in shallow water that you'll be able to see in just a second.
All right.
There. Nope. Reveal. Reveal now. I'm telling you.
Reveal.
Here. So you wouldn't quite hear them right now. You're kind of separate from the rest of the cave.
Okay.
You're looking around. The room that you're in is a kind of enclosed area. In the back of the room, there is a little chest, and then there's just water all around with one part a bit more reflective.
Yeah. Definitely gonna stay away from the water. If I see a chest, I'm gonna go poke it with my quarterstaff to see if it's been messed.
A mimic?
Yes, I'm not trusting anything, so just to make sure that this is not gonna eat me, I'm gonna whack it with my stick.
I want to see this fan art as well. Just this huge burly dude with a big old quarterstaff poking this little chest, like.
Yeah. Oh man, I was ready to sacrifice his hand and have him have a permanent thing, but
Turn into Captain Hook.
yeah, no. So does this chest react at all? Is there anything going on?
Chest does not react at
Okay. All right.
That's nice.
Well, I'll see if I can open it next time when it's my turn. But
all. With everything, we're gonna have to figure out what's in the chest next time because you're in it.
Yeah.
Now, so we can do some quick little announcements. You've all made it to the cave. Chest unopened, ready to be opened by Braylor, and portion still missing. Teagle.
definitely not a mimic, which is good.
I don't want to come out of the bag.
Can this whole time can Coog be like checking the bag, like Teagle,
Yeah.
and just like, and just like keep as they're like walking or running, just like Teagle.
Double checking that it hasn't been like cut or punctured at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, there's no signs of Teagle so far.
Dang.
But yeah, we're gonna end right there so that we can head out later. Thanks everyone for watching, who is still watching. This
Yeah.
is slightly more hectic than usual.
This is great.
Damn.
I love it.
This whole island's been slightly more hectic than usual.
yeah,
So
this
Oh, this is so fantastic.
planet
It's so much fun.
But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for whoever somehow made it to level 12 during the stream. That's awesome. So we can now do our
good job.
number 1 tier. So someone is getting a hoodie, guaranteed.
It's a good time.
I just want to let you all know that we are going to be having another giveaway after those still. I like using any funds we get from this to either make the stream better or do giveaways, and this time I really want to do a giveaway. So,
Oh yeah.
Once we finish everything, regardless of what we hit, we're going to do another small giveaway. It could be bigger depending on how many we get, because how many people we get to join raid and get to level 12 is how much money we get from it. So the more money we get, the more things we can give away. So remember, follow our link, go download the game, get to level 12. Thank you all for watching.
Tell your friends. Get them to do it.
Make sure that everyone comes and watches us and tries to get free stuff, because
it's fun.
It is.
Yep. Totally.
Thanks everyone for watching. Remember to go and follow if you haven't followed, and if you have any of those Prime subscriptions, we love those. So
yeah.
Thanks again. I hope you all have a good idea. Plenty of good ideas.
I hope you have great ideas.
Yes.
I like what Wyatt said. I hope you have fantastic ideas and they make you like tons of money or something, but have a great night.
Totally.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. Goodbye and good night.
Thanks for watching / listening.
Yes.
See you next time.